Hello everyone, it's us again, passionate, ever-vigilant team behind the TV channel Days Drama Digest. We're your go-to source for all things dramatic, suspenseful, and downright jaw-dropping in the world of soap operas. Today, we're diving headfirst into one of the most tantalizing enigmas currently gripping the fans of Days of Our Lives, the fate of Stefan DiMera. Did he really meet his untimely end, as Peter Blake so boldly claims? Or is this all part of Vivian Alamain's elaborate, Machiavellian scheme to reclaim her son and reshape the power dynamics in Salem? Buckle up, dear readers, because we're about to dissect the storyline layer by layer, exploring every shadowy corner, every whispered secret, and every heart-pounding twist. Together, we'll uncover whether this tale of disappearance, deception, and potential resurrection is destined to unfold in explosive fashion, or if it's just another red herring in the endless saga of Salem's most notorious families. To truly appreciate the gravity of this mystery, we must first rewind the clock and revisit the last harrowing moments we witnessed Stefan on screen. It was a scene straight out of a nightmare, one that left viewers gasping and speculating for months. Stefan, the charismatic yet ruthless heir to the DiMera empire, found himself ensnared in the clutches of his own mother, Vivian Alamain. Vivian, the iconic villainess with a penchant for theatrical villainy, orchestrated a kidnapping that was as bold as it was brutal. Picture this, Stefan, bound and helpless, his eyes flashing with a mix of fury and disbelief, as Vivian loomed over him like a dark specter from his past. She didn't just abduct him, she forced him into a corner, compelling him to sign divorce papers from his beloved Gabi Hernandez. The ink on those documents wasn't dry before Stefan vanished from our screens, leaving a void in the storyline that has haunted fans ever since. Why did Vivian do it? That's the question that has kept us up at night. Vivian has always been a force of nature in Days of Our Lives, a woman whose love for her children is as fierce as it is twisted. Stefan, her biological son, was her pride and joy at DiMera through and through, but one she molded in her image. Their relationship has been a rollercoaster of loyalty, betrayal, and redemption. Remember the early days when Vivian unearthed Stefan from obscurity, revealing him as her long-lost child? It was a bombshell that shook the foundations of Salem. But Vivian's maternal instincts are often laced with manipulation. She sees Stefan not just as family, but as a pawn in her endless quest for power. Forcing him to divorce Gabi wasn't an act of whimsy, it was calculated. Perhaps to sever ties that Vivian deemed weakening, or to pull him deeper into her web of intrigue. And since that fateful day, Stefan has been absent a ghost in the narrative. His whereabouts a blank slate that screams for answers. Fast forward to the present, and the plot thickens in ways that only Days of Our Lives can deliver. Amidst the chaos of Salem's streets, where alliances shift like sand in the wind, we find Gabi Hernandez and Gwen sharing a rare moment of vulnerability. These two women, once bitter rivals entangled in their own web of deceit and heartbreak, have surprisingly found common ground. There they were, huddled together on a bustling sidewalk, their faces etched with worry and exhaustion. The conversation turned inevitably to the men in their lives, or rather, the voids left by them. Gabi's heart still aches for Stefan, her ex-husband whose memory lingers like a shadow. Gwen, too, carries her own burdens, but in this intimate exchange, it was Stefan's name that echoed with poignant relevance. But the real bombshell didn't drop on the street, it exploded in the most fitting, most macabre setting imaginable, the DiMera family crypt. Oh, the irony. This hallowed, or should we say haunted chamber, where the dead are laid to rest and secrets are buried deeper than any coffin, became the stage for Peter's revelations. Peter Blake, the enigmatic figure with his own tangled history in Salem, stepped into the spotlight with accusations that cut like a knife. The DiMera family, he proclaimed, had turned a blind eye to Stefan's disappearance. Can you imagine the tension in that dimly lit crypt, the air thick with the scent of dust and decay? As Peter's words hung like a noose, he didn't stop at mere finger-pointing, he unleashed a torrent of shocking truths, or were they? Peter claimed that while the DiMeras lounged in their opulent mansion, sipping champagne and plotting their next corporate takeover, none of them had deigned to investigate Stefan's fate. Not a single call, not a whisper of inquiry. The family that prides itself on unbreakable bonds had, in Peter's eyes, abandoned one of their own. But Peter, ever the self-proclaimed hero in this drama, insisted that he had taken action. He reached out to Vivian Alamain herself, dialing into the heart of the storm. And what did Vivian reveal? According to Peter, she delivered the devastating news: Stefan had died several months earlier. Died. The word alone sends chills down the spine. How? When? Under what circumstances? Peter offered no details, leaving us to fill in the blanks with our wildest imaginations. A tragic accident, a fatal illness, or something far more sinister? Yet, dear readers, let's pause and consider the source. This is Vivian Alamain. We're talking about a woman whose life is a tapestry woven from lies, half-truths, and outright fabrications. Blatant lying isn't just a skill for her, it's practically a hobby. A refined art form she's perfected over decades in Salem. Vivian has faked deaths before her own, included and emerged from the ashes like a phoenix, ready to strike again. Remember the time she was presumed dead after a plane crash, only to resurface with vengeance in her eyes? Or when she buried Carly Manning alive in a fit of jealousy? Vivian's deceptions are legendary, each one more elaborate than the last. So why should we take her word at face value now? Especially when Stefan's departure from Salem was anything but voluntary. Vivian made that crystal clear during the kidnapping. She was pulling the strings, dictating his every move. The possibility that Vivian is concealing the truth looms large, a dark cloud over the entire narrative. What if Stefan isn't dead at all? What if this death is merely a smokescreen, a clever ruse to hide him away until the opportune moment? Vivian's motives could be as complex as they are cunning. Perhaps she's protecting him from enemies within the DiMera fold, rival siblings like EJ or Chad, who might see Stefan as a threat to their inheritance. Or maybe it's all part of a grander plan to dismantle the DiMera brothers from the inside out. Imagine Vivian sequestered in some lavish hideaway, whispering instructions to Peter over a secure line. Could Peter be her unwitting or willing accomplice in this scheme? His sudden appearance in the crypt armed with accusations and revelations feels too convenient, too timed for maximum impact. Let's delve deeper into Peter's role because nothing in Days of Our Lives is ever straightforward. Peter Blake has his own axe to grind with the DiMeras. His history is riddled with betrayals, romances gone awry, and a thirst for justice. Is it revenge? He once loved Jennifer Horton, clashed with Jack Devereaux, and even served time for crimes he may or may not have committed. Now, positioning himself as the concerned outsider who bothered to call Vivian, Peter paints the DiMeras as callous and indifferent. But is he truly altruistic, or is this a calculated move to sow discord? Perhaps Vivian fed in the death story knowing full well it would ignite chaos. She could be using Peter as a proxy to eliminate threats to Stefan's eventual return, clearing the path for her son to reclaim his throne under her watchful eye. The theories abound, each more dramatic than the last. One popular fan speculation is that Stefan is alive and well, perhaps undergoing some form of brainwashing or amnesia induced by Vivian's machinations. After all, memory loss is a staple in Salem. Think of all the characters who've wandered back with blank slates, only to rediscover their past in explosive revelations. Vivian might be molding Stefan into the perfect DiMera heir, free from Gabi's influence and ready to execute her bidding. Another angle, what if Stefan's death is tied to a larger conspiracy involving the Alamein family's old rivals? Vivian has enemies everywhere, from the Kiriakaises to the Bradys, and hiding Stefan could be her way of safeguarding her legacy. And let's not forget Gabi's reaction to all this. Poor Gabi, the fiery fashionista who's endured more heartache than most. Her marriage to Stefan was a whirlwind of passion and power plays, a union that defied odds and ignited sparks. Hearing Peter's claim must have shattered her anew. In that street-side conversation with Gwen, we saw glimpses of her vulnerability where her voice cracked when Stefan's name was uttered. The tears she fought back. Gabi has rebuilt her life post-Stefan, throwing herself into schemes and rivalries. But the ghost of her ex-husband lingers. If Stefan is alive, what does that mean for her? A joyous reunion or a descent into further turmoil as Vivian's plans unfold? Gwen, too, adds layers to this drama. As Stefan's half-sister through convoluted family ties, she has a stake in the DiMera legacy. Her alliance with Gabi is fragile, born of shared pain, but it could fracture if Stefan returns. Gwen's own secreture impersonations, her deceptions mirror Vivian's playbook. Is she privy to more than she's letting on? The crypt scene, with its echoing accusations, might just be the catalyst for Gwen to dig deeper, uncovering truths that could upend everything. As we ponder these possibilities, it's impossible not to feel the pulse-quickening excitement that Days of Our Lives thrives on. This isn't just a disappearance, it's a potential resurrection story in the making, replete with family feuds, maternal manipulations, and shocking comebacks. Vivian Alamein, with her impeccable timing and unyielding ambition, could very well be orchestrating the ultimate power grab. Bringing Stefan back under her control would not only reunite mother and son, but also position them as unstoppable forces against the DiMera brothers. Each, Chad, and the rest would be caught off guard, their empire crumbling under the weight of internal betrayal. But do we believe Peter's story? Is Stefan truly gone, his light extinguished in some undisclosed tragedy? Or is this Vivian's perfect plan, a symphony of lies designed to lull her enemies into complacency? The evidence or lack thereof points to deception. Vivian's history screams caution, her words are weapons, not truths. Peter's involvement adds suspicion, his motives murky in the Salem fog. Dear fans, we at Days Drama Digest urge you to stay tuned. This storyline is far from over, it's simmering, building toward a boil that could scald everyone involved. Will Stefan emerge from the shadows, alive and vengeful? Will Vivian's scheme unravel, exposing her as the puppet master? Or will Peter's revelations prove true, forcing Salem to mourn a lost son? The crypt may hold the dead, but in days of our lives, death is rarely final. Secrets have a way of rising, and when they do, the fallout is spectacular. Let's speculate together in the comments below. Do you think Stefan is dead, or is Vivian hiding him for a dramatic return? Share your theories, your hopes, your fears. We're all in this dramatic journey together. And who knows, next episode might just blow the lid off this mystery. Until then, keep the drama alive.